Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How are all my friends doing? I see everybody has been in here just chatting away, talking about the cold. Somebody asked where cherry piss was. I saw some Christmas conversation. Exactly, Misty. How are all the beautiful peeps doing today? Let me tell you how stupid I am. It's a Monday all day. Okay, for one, I put a video up this morning, and you guys know, as it is, we're lucky to have any videos. I'm no Oliver Stone. So I put this video up for little Madalena. It's a new case that we started covering over the weekend. Kat and I are going to be live in a few hours about little Madalena in North Carolina. So make sure you hit your reminder. Her stepdad's in jail for failure to report Madalena missing. Her stepdad's name is Chris. I called him Steve because I got old Steve on the brain from the Idaho case. This case we're talking about right this minute. You can imagine why I've got Steve on the brain, because the minute I say Steve, I got all the haters coming out of the woodwork to jump all over my ass. So, had to do a soft edit on that, if you know what I mean. How rude of me. So then I jump in, gonna tell everybody hi. There's nobody in chat. And I'm like, well, we have like 10 minutes. It's the holiday. Everybody's busy. It's a Monday. And I'm like, well, hang on. There's like nobody in here. They've been all talking in Discord. They've been in the Facebook group. Did I not make the show public? I go over to YouTube and I see it's public, and I'm like, how weird. I come back into it. I was in the wrong stream. Nope, it wasn't set to private. I never use private. I was in the whole wrong stream. I just saw nobody's in here, and I'm like, well, it was bound to happen someday. It was bound to happen. It was right around the corner. I could feel it. Anyway, I was in the wrong stream. So now that I know what case I'm talking about and I'm in the right stream, maybe everything's going to be okay. Maybe. I don't know. You're not in good hands. You're not in good hands here. So I saw a lot of people in here talking about the weather. Mariah Pat, she's used to bad weather. She definitely is. Jeannie's always got like a negative something with her weather. So for those of you that aren't used to the really, really, really cold weather, like if you're from Florida, Georgia, my Okies, Texas, we remember what happened a couple of years ago when the whole Northeast was yelling at us going, oh, I think it's funny all their pipes are bursting and shit and they don't have any electricity. If you're not used to it, you got a few days to prepare because an Arctic blast is coming through. I don't know what's going on with this weather. I didn't vote for it. Nobody asked me. And if you guys shop at Winco, this is not a paid advertisement. You know that would never happen around here for many reasons. Well, for one, the host doesn't even know what stream she's in, and she uses the wrong names for very key characters in cases. But other than that, if you have a Winco around you, over the weekend, my husband picked up some peppermint bark coffee. And I am addicted to this stuff. I'm on my second pot. That could be part of my confusion this morning. So I saw a couple people asking about cherry piss. I wasn't blessed with any cherry piss this weekend. I did notice I didn't have any Steve. Why are you hating on Steve? I hope this never happens to your family. So I didn't have any comments like that from her. I'm wondering if she didn't change her name on YouTube and it's just laying low. That is about to be a thing of the past, I found out. I had a very interesting email from YouTube talking about handles. So everyone has a handle. And so you can't just go and change your name if you've made an ass out of yourself like Cherry Piss did. Also, they're doing something. So if you have like 50 emails connected to one account and they all have a YouTube on there, they're doing things about that too. Really kind of ruins the fun for me, but that's how YouTube wants to do it. I wasn't bothered by anything. Okay, also over the weekend, I just want to make this clear. I had a couple of emails from people wanting to come into Discord. Love it. Would love to have you in there. So I tried to explain to one woman in particular, and she wasn't we weren't on the same page. So I thought it'd be easier for me to explain it like this. Okay, so Discord is basically for people that want to just, we're just chatting, right? It's just an active conversation. It's super cool. People don't fight in there. It really is a wonder how it's worked out the way it has for 3 years. Really, it is. So I was trying to explain to her. First of all, I asked who the hell she was. She explains, this is me. I'm like, oh, okay. She kind of goes into basically doxing herself. I mean, I didn't want her name and address. I'm like, no, I mean, like literally, like, who are you on YouTube? Like, I don't recognize this name. And it's like she just kind of uses like her own name. If she hears this, she's going to understand my email. She goes, oh, well, I don't ever chat in there. And I don't really leave comments after the show. So I was like, well, no offense, but if you're not going to chat with us in the live show, and let's say you catch the replay and you can't even as much as, put in a good morning or what you think about the show, well, then you're not going to chat in there. Really goes without saying. We got to know you. Does that make sense? Hopefully I said that right. I hope I said that right. You never know. You never know. Kat said, didn't you get her social security and IP address? If you can't beat them, join them, right, Kat? Right, Mariah Cat? Over the weekend also, sounds like I had a busy weekend. Couldn't be more untrue. Had some really nice Christmas cards from several of you. I love, love, love Christmas cards. Crafty individuals, guys. I have to give some shout outs. I have to give some shout outs here. Avi makes her own Christmas cards. Look at that. She made that. Don't forget, I also am a little bit crafty too. We do have a merchandise line. Do not forget. But isn't that pretty? It's up on my wall with my other Christmas cards. Nene Nut makes ornaments. This is on my tree. Is that not pretty? I was just blown away. Very, very pretty. Like I said, a lot of really cute, and you guys wrote some really, really funny stuff in some of your Christmas cards. All right. Those, as you know, are eye level for people to see when they start, going through my mail. Like it's their business who the Christmas card's from. But anyway, that's how it goes. So, speaking of the weekend, which was uneventful, geez, I still can't believe I screwed up so bad this morning. Here we are. Back again, talking about the Idaho 4. The Idaho 4. And I hate to say the Idaho 4. Uh-oh, Pixie Anna said, okay, I'm new here, coming out of lurkdom. I'm not a big chatter, but all right. I knew that would come back to bite me. You do whatever you're comfortable with, Pixie, but nope, we love to hear from you. Christine says, I'm a card maker too. See, that's what I'm talking about. Crafty, crafty. I love it. So here we are back talking about the Idaho 4. I hate saying that. I understand that's the moniker that's been given. And obviously, when I'm talking about the Idaho 4, I don't say Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, Xana, or it should be alphabetical, really, if you think about it. Ethan, Kaylee, Maddie, Xana. But we know who they are. Kaylee, 21 years old. Madison, 21. Ethan, 20. Xana, 20 years old. Gone way too soon. Go to the university. Mom and dad take a exhale, deep breath, and they're like, did it right. We raised them right. Now they're off to university, and the unthinkable happens. And in this case, I'm telling you, you can't even take a nap or you're behind. You wake up in the morning, something happened overnight. Something happened. It's just crazy. We have new accusations. We're never at a loss of accusations. A new surveillance video came out. I'm sure most of you have heard it. I put a clip on the channel this morning, and it's eerie. It's very eerie because it's Madison, Kaylee, and food truck guy walking down the sidewalk. For some reason, there's no stalkers behind them. That's very odd. That makes vape guy out to be a liar because nobody was following them. They're talking about a guy named Adam. I'll play it real quick. Hang on. So they're leaving the corner club bar. Madison says to Kaylee, "What did you say to Adam?" Kaylee says, "I told Adam everything." Didn't take but a hot second for people to figure out who Adam is, and Adam is now in a very, very popular crowd. He's in the crowd of the accused. Also, the man that lied about hearing a scream, well, I shouldn't say lied, remembered hearing a scream a month later, Einan. Accusations are going his way. He also launched a YouTube channel over the weekend. He's a fire dancer. He's a fire dancer or something. Also, Dylan's boyfriend. Dylan's boyfriend has been accused. We spoke about this in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group yesterday. I put it to rest. I think we're done. This is Dylan's boyfriend. I'm going to stand by what I say, that Idaho's white boy Rick could not beat himself out of a wet paper sack. I understand that this is an offensive thing to him when people say, no, this guy couldn't have done it. He gets really offended if you mention that he couldn't possibly be the killer. Okay? Now, I could go on all day about this kid, but it would be downright cruel for me to. No effing way did he go in that house and murder 4 people. No. Mm-mm. For one, I would never want him to mess up the do-rag he has on. He just doesn't really possess the pizzazz somebody needs to do something like this. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just put that one to rest. Okay? As far as Einan, I don't know. This Adam guy, he's a new one. Hopefully the police are all over it, but I'm just going to give the police the day off. As far as white boy Rick goes, we don't need to deal with him. He's all good. The way people are saying that they are accusing, not saying, do you think? They're just flat out accusing him, is because, well, as we know, Dylan survived. Dylan slept through the murders. And they're saying that he purposely skipped floor one because his boo is on floor one. I'll eat my words. I've had to do it before, but in the meantime, I'm just going to leave that one alone. I could honestly talk about this situation all day long with White Boy Rick, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. I already know what awaits me after the show just for saying what I just said. All right. So also Bob shared something very interesting with me. We know how people do when they have a phone in their pocket and they don't ever have to worry about seeing someone face to face. Well, they do shit things with it. 3 weeks ago, which would be around Thanksgiving time, right? This Natasha Scholes, local guide, she has left 12 reviews, and I have a feeling all of her reviews are somewhat like this one. A one star review. Bob says, I'm here. Yes, Bob. So Natasha leaves a review about the Mad Greek. Mad Greek is where Xana and Maddie used to work. I have a feeling that the people that patron the Mad Greek, the owner, and the wait staff probably have a lot on their minds right now, and two coworkers being murdered could be at the forefront of their mind. Never mind the fact that the people that work there probably go to school at the University of Idaho and they live in Moscow where there is a mass murderer that could be in their community. But she took the time. She took the time to leave a review. She says this is 3 weeks ago. The food was cold. The service was horrible. We waited for an hour and a half to get our orders taken and then another half hour to get cold food. I watched as the waiter stood at the bar looking at their phones. Their THERE. So you know what we're dealing with here. Their phones. The people that came in after us got their THERE before we did. The gyros were bland and overpriced. We could get better gyros at Arby's, or euros is what some people call them, at Arby's. The only thing half decent was the fries, and those were cold as well. The Mad Greek owner replies, I'm sorry for your bad experience. Can you tell me when you visited so I can speak to the staff? Now, and he says, thank you and happy Thanksgiving. I'm really sure that the staff at the Mad Greek, who's dealing with what's going on in their town, at their school, and the fact that two coworkers were murdered, really wanted to have this come to Jesus meeting with the owner of the Mad Greek. But it had to happen. Okay. Now, what is very eerie is 2 months ago, Kaylee Goncalves, who is like a sister to Madison and is also a victim in this horrific murder, left a review for the Mad Greek and said, my experience here was amazing. The server Maddie made our experience extra special. Food was amazing. The sampler platter is to die for. So just when you think that you're being a shit person and you do a shit thing, something like that pops up and you realize you can't get away with it. You can't get away with it. So, even in death, Kaylee defends the Mad Greek. In a way, if you want to look at it like that. A lot going on, guys. A lot going on. What is Tiffany talking about? Terry, yep. I hate when people don't know they're theirs. Exactly. If you want to throw down and you want to insult somebody, know your grammar. Know your grammar. And I'm not the grammar police. I hate the grammar police. But if you put it out there, I'm going to use whatever tools you give me, if you know what I mean. I'm going to give it. All right. Let's get to the comments. Then we're going to try to get up to speed. For those of you that are already up to speed, you can help me out. Also, the link is pinned. Don't be shy. comments from the last show that we did about the massacre in Moscow. Leah, now this goes back to people that are saying that the police need to tell us more information. More information. More. I mean, just put out the whole case file, according to some people. That's one of the reasons I got into it with Cherry Piss. When Cherry Piss kept telling me that the police can give us, what they know because there's a sense of urgency for public safety. Well, I reminded her she's in Caddo Parish, Louisiana. She doesn't need to know. She's okay. No one's going to go down there and find her. But as for the people in the town, I think they've been very forthcoming as to we have no arrest, we have no suspect, we haven't given you a profile. Be vigilant. If you want to go home and not come back, we understand. That's really about all you can say. That's really about all you can say. Leah said, since no one has been arrested, then no one should get updated details of the case, period. I agree with this. For one, we know there's a public safety concern, okay? We know that. We also know that there are certain people that if you give them information, they may not realize that it's a bad idea to tell the whole world this trusted information. So I agree with this. Until they have somebody in silver bracelets, don't say anything. They've been giving some updates. This is why they're looking for the white Hyundai Elantra. And as far as the public safety, this is how I look at it right now. This is the tug of war that I believe is going on in Moscow, Idaho. I believe that the chief is like the chief in the movie Jaws. He knows that something he never expected to see in his career has gone down in his town. So he is screaming to the dean at the university, who's like the mayor in Jaws. He's saying, listen, we got a madman on the loose. This is what all we need to do. And he's saying, I'm not closing the beaches. You see, that university makes a lot of money for this town. So we're going to use words like crime of passion, like the mayor said, isolated and targeted. Somebody had a beef with somebody in that house. So you're still safe to go to school here. So while the FBI has 46 investigators there, the chief is still hung out to dry. He's like the chief in Jaws. He needs a bigger boat. Exactly right, True Crime with Shannon. He needs a bigger boat. Because it's not like the investigators that are there with the FBI. I believe there's 46 of them. There's 6 detectives with Moscow, and there's 46 with the FBI that are there. And when you think about it, so 46, 52 detectives. We haven't even looked at Idaho State Police or the Behavioral Science Unit, just detectives. 46 with the FBI, 6 with Moscow. That's 52 detectives having a powwow every day to find out what one psychopath has done. That's all the public safety warning I got for you. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. Okay, Social Butterfly left several comments for me on Friday. I just grabbed this one because it was the nicest. She said, thank God you're not this family, right? Because you would just sit back and let the cops cover up and mess up this investigation. You would fully trust that all law enforcement is on top of the up and up, right? No, I wouldn't. I would be advocating for my child, hands down. I can't say what I would do in this situation because I've never been in this situation. Now, as far as the cops covering up, this seems to be the new conversation. And I understand because there's been a couple of other cases where it looked like there was a cover up. There's one that I think that there is. I'm not going to get into that right now. So it used to be that the cops arrested the wrong person, corrupt cops, they have the wrong person, they just pinned it on that guy. That was the big, that was the big complaint. Good complaint, don't get me wrong. Now I have this flood of people that say that they're just wanting to cover it up. Well, cops don't get any money to their department unless they're selling jail time. They got to arrest somebody. What I see, if anything, is the cops are caving to political correctness. They're caving to social media. They really are. And so they're being way, 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 way more careful and more diligent. So, well, they don't have this. This doesn't blow up on them. So we can't judge the good by the Truckee, Californias. We can't judge the good by the Hawkins County. It's not fair. It's not fair. And it's a ridiculous conversation. Most crimes are solved within the day. It's like I've told, we've talked on here before. You're making your coffee in the morning. The local news says breaking overnight. They give you the street name. They tell you what happened. By dinner time, they're like, here's an update on our breaking news. A suspect's been arrested. That's normally how it goes. Obviously, on this channel, it doesn't go that way, which is why we have a conversation, because we have a mystery on our hands. But I'm answering her question. No, I wouldn't just sit back and trust the law enforcement, and I damn sure wouldn't trust the media. I certainly would not trust the media. No way, no how. I would not. Now, your local reporters, they're going to be more fair and more unbiased, if that's the right word. I'll probably use the wrong word because, well, they live there. A little tough to shit where you eat. But now when you get into, thank you, Lone Wolf, thank you. When you get into this case in particular, because it's the one we're talking about. Hello, I love coffee. You're talking about the Murdochs of the world. You're talking about the Ted Turners. You're talking about mainstream. You're talking about the big guys. You're talking about Fox, News Nation, CNN, NBC. So they make their splash, they get their headlines, and they go back home. See, they don't live there. It doesn't matter. Steve learned that. Steve has learned that because over the weekend, we had a different Steve altogether. He was a more subdued Steve, and he understands because he got done. He was done dirty by Fox. He explained when he said that they're cowards. He wasn't talking about the police. He was talking about an attorney that I have a feeling is the go-between between the families and the university. That's who I have a feeling he's talking about. Thank you very much, Mariah Pat. He's talking about the attorney. So he knows that what he says can easily be twisted. And I hope that in the last week, because he had this time last week, last Monday, he had a face-to-face meeting with the police. The attorney explained that they did walk out a bit defeated because the information they asked for, they weren't given. They know now. And I stand by what I said on Friday, which upset a few people, not in here because you guys are awesome, but a few people that'll drop comments later because they're not going to do it in here. I stand by what I say. When News Nation packs up, when Fox packs up, when the Today Show doesn't say anything anymore, he won't even have that attorney anymore. Steve's going to have his family to lean on and the police. The police will return his phone call. All of these media agencies will not. They will not. They will be done with him. They'll be on to the next story. The local media, they'll be there. But as far as these others, nah, they'd have to be really, they won't. And it's coming very fast. It's coming very fast. Jessie Lynn said, "Good morning. When I listened to the audio last night, you know what audio we're talking about, it sounded as though Kaylee was not happy when she said, 'What did you tell Adam?' And whoever answered her," okay, so it turns out now she's thinking it's Kaylee. It's Madison that asked, "What did you tell Adam?" Kaylee replied, "I told him everything." She says Adam is also Jack D's roommate. So Jack D's alibi was he was sleeping, and Adam was his alibi saying, yeah, he was sleeping. She said, I don't know, but it's another person in the mix now. That's for sure. This is my question. Of course, we're not going to know. I'm just throwing it out there. What the hell is everything? I told him everything, is what Kaylee said. I told him everything. I have a feeling that that everything is the reason for all the phone calls when they got back to the house. Some people said that those phone calls are the reason that they believe Jack D is the killer. I have never thought that the phone calls were weird. I don't know why. I figured that either after a night out on the town, she'd been drinking, you know, you call up an ex, right? I didn't think it was odd that he didn't answer. He said he was asleep, and people are like, no way was he asleep. But these same people say it's perfectly reasonable for the two roommates to sleep through a quadruple murder. Like, it's okay that they slept through a quadruple murder in their own home. But Jack D sleeping through her phone calls is a different story. I don't know what the hell is going on there. No, he could have been ignoring her. He could have been ignoring her. Some people don't want to have an argument with their ex at 2:30 in the morning. He could have been pissed as to what the everything was that was said to Adam. So what does Adam know? What was told to Adam? What was told to Adam? I don't know. Let's look at it again, because now what I read on Fox was that it's Madison saying, "What did you say to Adam?" and Kaylee saying, "I told Adam everything." So we're going to have to look really closely, or I'm going to have to, because I want to make sure I'm following this right. Hang on. Okay, so Madison is in the black jacket. It looks to me like Madison is the one asking Kaylee. She puts her arm out to get her attention. She looks at her and says, "What did you say to Adam?" Kaylee says, I told Adam everything. Let me look at it again. Look at Madison. She's in the black jacket. Okay, the way it looks to me is it's Madison asking Kaylee, "What did you say to Adam? What did you tell Adam?" And then Kaylee says, "I told him everything." Spirit Moon said, "I thought it was Maddie answering because she moves closer to answer." What did you yeah, what did you say to Adam? What did you tell Adam? Whatever this conversation was with Adam, who according to Steve, we're going to see this interview in a minute, is the bartender at the corner club. Um he's really good friends with Jack D. Some people say he's his roommate. That could be the reason for the phone calls at 2:30 in the morning. That could be. I don't know I don't know what the everything is she had to tell him. I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess this exchange with Adam had a lot to do with the ex. Bama said hang on. Bama says she addresses Maddie by saying, Mads, what did you say to Adam? That's what I thought I heard too. Jeannie says, Kaylee said Maddie. JTB, I love you bunches. Thank you very much. Let me listen to it again. To me, it's Maddie because she walks up and she like leans in towards Kaylee, and I can see Kaylee turn around to answer her. Now, mind you, it's black and white. It's a CCTV. That's what I see. Either or, a conversation was had at the corner club with Adam regarding everything. Everything. Now, it was brought up to Steve on Fox over the weekend, and his interview to me was huge because he was much more subdued, and he was clearing things up. But he says that he's looked into Adam, and that he says we've looked into Adam. Adam is not relevant, I guess is what he's trying to say. Now, I had a lot of you reached out to me and said, don't worry about this Adam guy. And I'm not accusing this Adam guy. I think that this conversation with Adam is the reason for blowing up the phone, calling Jack at 2:30 in the morning. Because I told Adam everything. I'd like to know how many times Jack was trying to get a hold of her. Whatever this everything is, Jack could have been trying to get a hold of her. What the hell did you tell Adam? What is all this? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't going back and forth. I've never heard that Jack was trying to call her, just that she was reaching out to him and then tried to get Madison to call him. Do you think that the reason she was trying to call Jack at 2:30 in the morning, we've heard 6, 7, 8, 9 times, was over this exchange with Adam, or because she needed Jack to come over and save her from the mass murderer? What do you guys think? Teresa said the conversation with Adam was pivotal. Darkest Duchess is the same voice that says, Maddie, what did you say to Adam, is also the one screaming in the body cam footage saying, stop, stop. It's Kaylee's voice. I'm just looking at the mannerisms. We're seeing a lot of different stuff. Well, I say a lot of different stuff. Some people think it's Maddie saying, what did you say to Adam? Some people say it's Kaylee, because I see Kaylee as she's walking down the street, like replying to Madison. I see her turn around and look at her and say, I told Adam everything. Let's look at it again. To me, Kaylee would not be walking straight ahead, talking basically to the air. You look at who you're talking to, and it was Madison coming behind her. We've heard that story before, saying, what did you say to Adam? And she looks over her shoulder to answer her. That's what I see. That's what I see. If you guys think it's the other way around, either way, and I didn't hear her say Maddie. I didn't hear that. But either way, a conversation was had with Adam that night, and Adam was told everything. Some people think it's the guy talking. Some people think it's the guy talking. I don't know. Let's look at this. Hang on. Maybe it's better on here. Yeah, basically the same. What the hell? Okay, so in this article, it says newly disclosed surveillance video said to have been taken early on November 13th appears to show slain University of Idaho students Kaylee and Maddie walking with a man in downtown Moscow hours before the quadruple stabbing. The women appear to be wearing the same clothes that they were seen sporting the same evening on video outside a nearby food truck. The man walking with them is also wearing clothes that look like those on a man seen at the food truck, whom police have said is not a suspect. Maddie, what did you say to Adam? A woman asks as the group walks under an outdoor surveillance camera. I didn't hear the Maddie part. That would have been important, right? The woman's voice appears to match that of Goncalves in her TikTok. According to Steve, Kaylee's father, the Adam the women mention is not a suspect. Well, we've never heard of him before. So did the police tell him Adam is not a suspect? I mean, I'm not saying Adam's a suspect. I'm just curious because I think that a lot of what Steve is saying when he gives his interviews, some of it is his interpretation and his opinion. And I think that the reporters that are talking to him need to make a clarification between what has been relayed to him and what he thinks. I do think that would be important to know because a lot of people are running with opinions of key players instead of, well, the coroner's won. This coroner has made a mess. I think there needs to be some discernment between what people think and what has been given to them by law enforcement. I don't know, just me. He said, we asked and did the obvious due diligence, and we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of the investigation as far as a suspect. So maybe he asked the police, do you know who Adam is? And they said, don't worry about Adam. We know who Adam is. I don't know. So this came from a Facebook group. It says they told Fox News Digital it was provided to them by a Moscow resident who previously submitted it to the police and believes making it public can provide greater context about the incident. On Sunday, permission was granted to show the full clip. Ben Merkel, president of the new St. Andrew School, which owns the building on Main Street, in between the corner club and the food truck, told Fox that he had previously shared all of the footage The police asked forth investigators. There are several cameras on the exterior. He said he played no role in the release of the video to the public, though. I don't blame him for telling people that. According to police, Kaylee and Maddie left the corner club around 1:30 a.m. on November 13th and walked to the food truck where they ordered and then hitched a ride back to their King Road home. I wish they wouldn't say hitched a ride. That's going to create more rumors. They didn't hitch a ride. They had a ride share. What is it, like a designated driver ride share through one of the sororities? Because it was said they had an Uber and the police said no, it wasn't an Uber. Police said the driver is also not suspected in the crime. Well, at least they said that much. Uh, uh, uh. I don't see that this Adam guy would be told everything at the bar and then get off if he was working that night or just partying that night. I don't know if he was working because I do know some people have been calling the corner club asking for Adam and they've been told that Adam no longer works there. I don't know if he was working that night. I've heard yes and I've heard no. Anyway, I have a hard time believing that this everything conversation made Adam go to the house and commit quadruple murder. What do you guys think? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me catch up on some chat here. Tammy says, none of us has a clue who done this. No, that's for sure. Carolyn, exactly. I'm going to need some receipts. Yeah. Where is it said that Adam quit his job? Hang on, I had to take a drink of my Dr. Pepper. I haven't ever seen it said that he quit his job, was fired. Just that some people have called the corner club asking specifically for him, and they have been told not that he's not there or he hasn't got to work yet or that he doesn't work there anymore. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Either or, however this conversation went down, the important thing is what could have been said in this everything conversation that would spur on a mass murder? I'm not seeing it. Yes, Radio Gaga, I would never lie to you. The name of the show is Crime, Lines, and Lies. That has to do with the criminals involved in these cases, not your buddy talking right now. Yes, people have been calling the damn corner club. Yes, they have. They don't just call and say, what's good today? Or what time do you open? They're calling and asking for Adam. I could have died when I heard it. Yeah. Yeah. And in this case, it kind of seems like being wrongfully accused is cool. You know, like you kind of, it's almost like a special club. Like, hey, I've been accused. Have you been accused yet? You know, like Jeremy. Jeremy's made new friends. Like Jeremy's got a group on Reddit for rugby. And like some of the people that were accusing him of being a killer are like in that group with him now. It's the strangest thing. We know Showalter, they even have a whole Facebook page accusing him. He is the guy. That's what they're saying. And now we have Adam. He's being accused. Now, it's one thing, I mean, in this case, wrongfully accused, you kind of get a little bit of clout, I guess, with that. I don't know what these people are thinking. I wouldn't want to be accused. You just don't want to be wrongfully arrested or charged. Okay, guys? So let's not, I don't mean you guys, I mean the wrongfully accused crowd. You don't want to step it up to where they have no choice but to bring your ass in. Gigi, your princess, said Maddie. What did you say to Adam? Let's listen to it again. See, I'm not hearing the Maddie. That's all right. That's all right. Either or, we know there was a conversation. I'm making out Adam for sure. There was a conversation, and Adam was told everything. Because, hang on, my papers are all over the place. Because Jesse heard it opposite of the way I heard it, and some of you heard it. Let me read everything Jesse said. Jesse said, she said, and whoever answered her, I think Maddie, but she said, I told him everything. It didn't sound like playing around type of talk. Me either. And they are also walking with Hoodie Guy. Then she says, Adam is also Jack D's roommate. So Jack D's alibi was he was sleeping, and Adam was his alibi saying, yeah, he was sleeping. She said, I don't know. It's another person in the mix now. That's for sure. She said, her head hurts, mine too. She said, I have listened to the audio over and over again, and I don't think she was playing around. She almost seemed worried, like, what did you tell Adam? Now, that's the inflection I get to. What did you tell Adam? I told Adam everything. That could be oh shit, we got to get a hold of Jack. Because there's a reason that after a night of hanging out with your BFF, you come into town to show her your new car, that you have to get a hold of Jack. It can't wait for morning. It can't wait for after the next afternoon. It can't wait. Had to get a hold of Jack D that night. Let's listen to it again. Then we'll get to Steve's thing. I told Adam everything. To me, that's the whole reason for the phone call when they got home. Wiz said, I'm still wondering why Jack dresses so much like Jack D. They kind of all dress alike, don't they? Must be what the kids are wearing nowadays. Must be what the kids are wearing nowadays. It's kind of like when we were doing the Kylie Rodney case. And like all the kids had the same haircut. Okay, Mr. said first word is Maddie. Some people are hearing Maddie, some people aren't. I don't hear Maddie. I'll have to listen to it again and again and again. I heard this. I didn't hear like. I heard I told Adam everything. And I heard an inflection in everything. So Steve says this Adam guy is no big deal. But remember, he's not saying because the police said he's no big deal. We have to remember that Steve is giving his opinion as well. And no. I am not saying Adam is sus. Adam is a suspect. Adam was simply just told everything a few hours before these two girls were murdered. It's the craziest thing. Let's hear what Steve has to say.
I made a promise to you that our audience would stay on this case and not let this case die. We had a cooling off period last week out of respect for law enforcement to bring the temperature down a little bit. What new can you tell us, Steve? I know we got this new surveillance video.
Okay, Lawrence tells him, Lawrence in the great suit in the middle, great beard and haircut. He says, we had a cooling off period last week. Could have fooled me. He said, out of respect for law enforcement. I wish he'd be clear with Steve and explain to him that one of these days, Steve, you're not going to have the opportunity to be on Fox anytime you call. Nice wording. It sounds nice, but the media is not your friend. The media is not Steve's friend. They already did him dirty last week by saying he called the police cowards, and that is still a published article. That is still a published article. Liza, let's just try to be human. Two young women getting out of a bar and just chatting. Yeah, they're just having a conversation. What did you say to Adam? I told Adam everything. Okay. Henry doesn't understand this is an active and this is a conversation we're having. So as far as Wist talking about people dressing alike, that's a conversation, and Henry doesn't need to be in here saying that it's none of our business to have a conversation. This is crazy. I like never ever, like, it's so rare that I time out or block people. You have to really, really want it. All right, on to this. So Lawrence is telling him, as promised, Steve, we're here for you anytime. We're here for you. We're going to keep this case going. I wish Lawrence would tell him the truth. That when the next case hits, Lawrence is going to be bye-bye. Lawrence is not going to take Steve or his attorney's calls. We had a cooling off period last week, he says, out of respect for law enforcement. Again, I must have been sleeping all last week because you could have fooled me.
Video that was released by our digital team today. What can you tell us?
That film, to the family, we've had that film for a while. I believe the business reached out to us directly, and after they had given it to the police. So it was kind of comforting to us because it's just two girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Yeah, so you don't suspect that this guy, Adam, that's stated in the video is somehow a suspect or anything like that. You guys have known about this video for a while.
We have, and we asked, and we did the obvious due diligence when we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of the investigation as far as a suspect.
Okay, I'm going to play it straight through. But anyway, I don't know what he means by we did our due diligence. Is he repeating what the officers have said to him? Also, it's comforting to know that Steve already had this video. This was not being shown to him for the first time by Fox. So as far as Steve not having any sort of inside knowledge of the case, well, he does, because he has already seen this. This surveillance video got zero reaction out of him. He's already seen it. He said it was comforting. So he is given more information than the public. He is. I'm not calling Steve a liar. I'm not saying Steve is making something out of nothing, because this is the biggest thing in his life ever. This is huge. So we know that Steve is given information from the police because he's already seen this. He said it was comforting when he saw it. Now I have a question. And again, I'm not trying to make Adam a suspect. I don't think Adam is a suspect. But who did the due diligence? The police or Steve? Big difference. Big difference.
We got this new surveillance video that was released by our digital team today. What can you tell us?
That film, to the family, we've had that film for a while. I believe the business reached out to us directly, and after they had given it to the police. So it was kind of comforting to us because it's just two girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Yeah, so you don't suspect that this guy, Adam, that's stated in the video is somehow a suspect or anything like that. You guys have known about this video for a while.
We have, and we asked, and we did the obvious due diligence when we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of.
Hang on one second. Stay-at-home mom said Steve stated that the establishment gave him a copy of the video after they gave it to law enforcement. law enforcement didn't release it to Steve. That is very, very true. I have a hard time believing that they would release it to the family without law enforcement saying it's okay. I've been wrong before. It could have gone that sloppy. But it is nice to know, either way, that Steve has this information before being on Fox News. Mr. says, what first word do you hear? The first word I hear in that video, the surveillance video, I hear what? I hear, what did you say to Adam? I don't hear a name. I'll listen to it again. Not right now, though.
Of the investigation as far as a suspect.
Good copy. So, Steve, what can you tell us about the investigation thus far? We've heard about the car details being released as well. Is there anything that we can do to get some answers for you guys so we can get this suspect, whoever it is, in custody?
They've kind of informed us through communications that they've checked all the easiest paths. So like if this individual had this car registered to his name and it was just something very quick that they could just look up in the area and go right to his house, they've done all the due diligence there. They've done all that. So now they're reaching out and they're going to look to the community, see if this individual borrowed this car. It doesn't appear that it's something that they have real easy access to. So he may have ran, and they really pushed the narrative saying, hey, if we can get these guys to focus on something that's really helpful, which is this car, and find out if somebody says, hey, that car, that looks a lot like mine, I'm going to come forward and just volunteer my information. And then, they can figure out if somebody else had borrowed it or if it, heck, who knows?
Steve, we talked about this off air. But one of the reasons why I want to bring this up is because I think it's critical to this investigation. A lot of these young people were teenagers, and there may have been some illicit activity that was minor that they would have gotten in trouble for, and it may be preventing them from coming forward. What can you tell these young people to kind of motivate them to give up some answers? Don't worry about all the petty stuff. 4 innocent lives were lost here.
Yeah, I want kids to understand that this is such a big case that these guys have their hands full. I wanted to go out there and tell everyone we support the Goncalves family, support the local police officers, so much so that we want them to be able to work on this case. I know that this is way over the normal workload that they normally have. Plus, they have patrols. They have to patrol now. This guy's not caught. So, there were some rumors that I called these officers a coward. That was not for these officers. That was for a lawyer that was standing in between what the officers would like to release and what is actually being released.
Okay, and I'll play it straight through, I promise. This is really important. This is where I get the Jaws scenario. He goes, I wasn't talking about the officers. I'm talking about the lawyer that's standing in between what the officers, what he's saying that they want to release. I don't know about that. And what they are releasing, I have a feeling that this lawyer he's calling a coward reports directly to the university. I have a feeling we're not going to make this any worse than it already is, because as it is right now, we've got people that are retracting their application to this school. There's more going on here. And don't forget, it's not just students in Moscow. Last week, I believe it was, when it was said it's owed to the girls in the town to talk about the safety. Well, I guess everybody else can get in line and kiss their ass, because there's male students on that campus, and there's also a whole part of town that live and work there and have nothing to do with the university. They have jobs that have nothing to do with the university. So are they not supposed to know either? They're letting everyone know. There's no arrest. There's no suspect. We're looking for a 2011 to 2013 white Elantra. We have not found that. We have not found the driver of that car. But for a reason, they want to find that car and that the driver of that car really, really bad. There's a reason that nobody has turned up and said, hey, that's me in that car. Anybody in their right mind would be like, that's me. I was parked there because I was at the party 2 doors down, and that's where I parked because that's where I found to park. Nobody is coming forward to say that's me in the car. That is sus. That is suspicious. This other nonsense to me is not suspicious. Trust me. If I was parked outside that house and they said, we're looking for, well, my car, I'd call them and be like, yo, that's me. That's me. I parked there because I was visiting friends down the street. And well, that's, the street was jam packed. The fact that whoever is driving that Elantra, we know that they remember. They have a white car on video speeding down the road. They remember being parked outside that house. Why are they not coming forward saying that was me?
Because I think it's critical to this investigation. A lot of these young people were teenagers, and there may have been some illicit activity that was minor that they would have gotten in trouble for, and it may be preventing them from coming forward. What can you tell these young people to kind of motivate them to give up some answers? Don't worry about all the petty stuff. 4 innocent lives were lost here.
Yeah, I want kids to understand that this is such a big case that these guys have their hands full. I wanted to go out there and tell everyone that we support the Goncalves family, support the local police officers, so much so that we want them to be able to work on this case. I know that this is way over the normal workload that they normally have. Plus, they have patrols. They have to patrol now. This guy's not caught. So, there was some rumors that I called these officers a coward. That was not for these officers. That was for a lawyer that was standing in between what the officers would like to release and what is actually being released. And I called that individual. And this was just about coming forward and saying that the profile is a male. I feel like at a month we can rule that that's not going to hurt the case. It's pretty clear. Even the coroner said this was a very strong individual. 2 people had defensive wounds, overpowered those people. So I'm just trying to steer the conversation into a way. So I have another person who's going to school there.
That's got to be so frustrating for Steve to know he has another child going to that school and they're playing university politics. They're playing university politics when there is a quadruple murder. That would make me more mad than anything right now. He's got another child going to that school. That's crazy. That is crazy to me.
Normal workload that they normally have. Plus, they have patrols. They have to patrol now. This guy's not caught. So, there was some rumors that I called these officers a coward. That was not for these officers. That was for a lawyer that was standing in between what the officers would like to release and what is actually being released. And I called that individual. And this was just about coming forward and saying that the profile is a male. I feel like at a month we can rule that that's not going to hurt the case. It's pretty clear. Even the coroner said this was a very strong individual. 2 people had defensive wounds, overpowered those people. So I'm just trying to steer the conversation into a way.
And it goes without saying, I know what he's saying is they need to put the profile out that this is a male. At least tell people it's a male. But they're not doing that. Some people think I'm crazy. And I probably am. I'm saying don't discount a female. Don't discount a female. He's saying there's defensive wounds and they overpowered this person. So now I have a picture in my mind of almost a struggle, almost like a struggle. And I wonder how victim one didn't wake up victim two. You wonder how victim two wouldn't have woke up victims 3 and 4 downstairs. It's going to take a lot to explain that to me, particularly when Steve said the means don't match. So let's say Kaylee, I'm just saying this. For example, I don't know who was killed first. Let's say Kaylee, laying in bed by Madison, was killed first. Her body would have to make some kind of reflex and wake up Madison. I'll never understand that. I can't wait for them to explain that. Because we're not just talking about the 2 sleeping roommates downstairs. How, when Kaylee was stabbed, did she not wake up Madison? They're in the same bed. Somebody got some skills. That's all I can say, because it's nuts. But as far as the profile, I'm going to be really surprised when they do make an arrest if we have some big, huge, muscle-bound, athletic Mr. Universe on our hands. I'm really going to be surprised, because pissed is pissed.
So I have another son. I have another person who's going to school there, and I don't want him walking around the streets if it's not safe. So, we know as a family what we're looking for. And, if they see an individual looking a certain way, I'm telling my kids, steer clear of that. But I want other families to know.
Steve, this is your first, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother, but this is your first Christmas without Kaylee. How you doing? How's your family doing?
To be honest, we're not even really going to have a Christmas because you can't get yourself there to where it would make sense. One of my children, the youngest one, is going to go stay with some families because they're going to have the normal type Christmas, and she deserves that. But for us, we can't do that. It's too close to our heart. And how do you have a celebration like this when you've lost 2 of your favorite people in the world?
Yeah. Brother, we continue to pray for your audience as well. Thank you so much.
Maybe it's just me, and I understand that Fox is there to get headlines. Now, mind you, Steve is talking to Fox. Fox is the network last week that said he called the police cowards, but he's talking to him again. He's got his lawyer there. He's a lot more subdued. And yes, the reporter asked him about Christmas. I was like, please tell me you didn't go there. What next? Are you going to ask him what Kaylee's first Christmas was like? Are you going to ask him to show some home movies from Kaylee's first Christmas? Are you going to ask if you put Kaylee's first ornament on the tree? Yeah, they asked that. That's what I'm talking about. That's why when I had the comment from Social Butterfly, thank God you're not this family, because you would just trust law enforcement. I wouldn't just trust law enforcement. I would be advocating for my child, and I would be trying to go through the process with them best I could. I can't put myself in those shoes, but I damn sure wouldn't trust the media. Hell no. The same media that said last week, the same news outlet that said he called them cowards, he's clearly saying I was talking about a damn attorney. Then they go, Christmas is coming up. Did you know Christmas is coming up, Steve? Pointless. What do they call it? What do they call it? When they have their big meetings. They did a movie about it one time, and they were showing a documentary, and they were showing their morning roundtables, about today's headline, and they call it shock and awe, because they know we're very desensitized to the news. It takes a lot to get our attention anymore, right? It does. We don't even turn the vacuum cleaner off when we can see something clearly horrific on the TV. So they have to come up with something to get our attention. Nothing would have been better for for Fox, for Lawrence to ask Steve about Christmas and Steve just have an epic meltdown right there and start crying. They wouldn't have edited that out. They would have left it. The headline would have been, you know, clearly unbalanced. Grief-stricken father breaks down on air. I'm telling you. So again, to answer Social Butterfly's question, I would question everything going on, but I damn sure would not for a minute think that the media was my friend. I have another secret for you. At work, human resources, they aren't your friends either. Everybody's got a job to do. Where Summer said I would never trust a reporter. Nope. Mm-mm. All the big ones, because like I said, they bring the circus to town, they get the dancing bears out, they pack up, they go to the next case. The local reporters, I really wish the local reporters had the market on covering this as opposed to these people. Freaking Christmas. You really are bringing up Christmas to him. You're really bringing up Christmas. I can't remember what they said to him on CNN the other day, and I was like, I cannot. It wasn't to Steve, though. I have to remember who they were talking about. And I thought it was the stupidest thing to ask. It was just to get attention. It was just to get attention. Oh, I almost forgot. This cannot go. Can't put this to the side before ending the show. After the show last week, Mermaid said, "Why would the vape guy randomly mention, 'I am glad you guys are hanging out with a large group to stay safe,' when this was one of the safest towns?" So we're talking about, again, a little bit of a recap from last Friday, when we went through the video a couple of times with the vape guy talking to Brian Enton, and he was saying that Kaylee had been stalked. So I went after her comment and I listened to it again, and he says, "Yeah, I'm glad you guys are staying safe." I think he embellished a little bit. Christy, what are you talking about? No freedom of speech at my home? What are you talking about? Is there something that you're not allowed to say in chat, Christy? Did I miss something? If you're just in here arguing for no reason, then you need to go somewhere else. We don't get down like that. You can have your opinion all day, every day. You don't need to argue in here with somebody who doesn't share your opinion, though. I don't know what's going on today. So we're going to go through Vape Guy one more time because I picked up several things where he clearly is embellishing. Clearly.
They always were just such a smile on their face. Just like pretty much you could say they were the light of the world, pretty much. You know, always happy, go lucky. They always came in just chatting. They always came with a group, like I said. They probably I'd say 4 or 5 girls at most all the time. They come in together. And I made a joke about it earlier. It was like, hey, coming together and stuff like that. It's nice to see you girls trying to stay safe. One of them more or less openly says, "Oh yeah, we've had a friend of ours be stalked before, so this is kind of why we all travel in a group like this." And just was it Kaylee who said that? Do you remember? No, it was Maddie who actually said that. So Maddie said it, and it was kind of like more mentioning, like motioning to Kaylee too, like who was right next to her. So you could tell that like they obviously all were trying to keep Kaylee safe, and be there for her as good friends. And then to know that a few weeks later, now I won't see her, anymore, anything like that. So it's crazy.
How long before the murder was that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks beforehand, because I was telling them I hope they had a good Thanksgiving break and everything like that too, because I didn't know if I'd see them again. So with a lot of the times with the kids, with the way after the pandemic, some of the kids leave and wave. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to see you this weekend or not. Hey, hope you have a great Thanksgiving with your family. And that was the last I saw them.
Did they elaborate any more on the stalker comment?
They more or less kind of making the comment that it always seemed to happen either by the campus or down on Main Street. And the last time the Kaylee more or less made it sound like it seemed like it was down on Main Street, and that.
Now that I'm going back through it, hang on, Christy, nobody is insulting you for having a different opinion. That does not happen here. Now, you are trying to get attention, and you're getting attention, and that's just not how we roll. Who in here is insulting you? What insult have you had for having a different perspective? I'm up here doing the show saying I can't hear him say Maddie. You think I'm complaining? I can't hear it. Enough. Nobody cares, Christy. Headline, Christy. Nobody gives a shit about your opinion. Okay, so vape guy, it seems to me that somehow he gets Brian Enton's attention, as we can clearly see. Why Brian Enton picked him out for an interview, I don't know. But does anyone seem to think that he's making it up as he goes along? Because he starts with one story and he starts adding to it. Listen to this. Dear God. He's just adding to it.
And making the comment that it always seemed to happen either by the campus or down on Main Street. And the last time the Kaylee more or less made it sound like it seemed like it was down on Main Street and that the person was coming from like around the corner club area and then kind of like as far as I remember, it's the guy who ended up like trying to go and talk to her and then he gave up on it and he ended up walking away. So she thought she was being stalked up to a certain point, and then looked behind her and he was no longer behind her. So
I just want to make sure that I get it right.
Yeah.
Tell me again exactly what you remember.
Just more or less, I made a joke about them being in a group, and they just said, yeah, you know, one of our friends emotionally to Kaylee that she'd been stalked recently, and so that had people constantly following her around. And it's not just a one-off thing, that this is apparently something that Kaylee had tons of issues with. Apparently she always had somebody who's constantly walking behind her like that. So, and it was more so at nighttime when they were out there drinking and stuff like that. So I asked them, like, is it at school? And she's like, no, when I'm at night, going out to the bars or coming back from the bars. And again, living down that way.
Does he need to go to the bathroom? Is that the reason he's bouncing around like that? He's bouncing all around, and I don't know what he's hiding in that beehive on his head, but he's making this up as he goes along. I think he's hoping to be a suspect soon. I think he's hoping to be a suspect. All the cool people are suspects, right? All the cool people get accused wrongfully. Look at Jeremy. Jeremy's made friends. Jeremy's got his own room on Reddit now.
She specifically mentioned the corner club?
Not the corner club, but just in that general direction and stuff like that. So the only reason I would is
look at Enton's face. Just in that, I got to pause it on Enton's face because this is not the investigative journalism he signed up for. I'm gonna pause it on his face. You guys got to see this.
Out to the bars or coming back from the bars.
Okay. I wish I could zoom in. Look at Brian Enton's face. He is so freaking confused. Also, the guy is making sure to let everybody know where the vape shop is. This is actually very smart advertising. No, just over there. So like we're right off Main Street, dude. Come get a vape anytime you want. Look at Brian Enton's face. He is all kinds of confused. Well, you own it, Brian, because you still put this out.
And again, living down.
Okay, Brian. Okay, so now Brian kind of goes in for the kill because he's okay. Now look at vape guy. I don't know what kind of dancing queen move he's making on the screen right now, but Brian's leaning in for the kill. Like, I've got to get something out of this interview that's going to convince my audience that Kaylee was literally being stalked everywhere he went. Take a screenshot of that. That would be a perfect thumbnail. He's like, I've got to get something out of this interview. I've got to. That is going to make my audience at News Nation, who knows we're dancing on the verge of being like a Daily Mail or a TMZ, but it is what it is. But I've got to get something out of this guy that convinces my audience that Kaylee was being stalked literally everywhere she went. Here we go. This is it.
On that way.
Did she specifically mention the corner club?
Not the corner club, but just in that general direction and stuff like that. So
not at the corner club, just at that general direction. Just in that general direction. I do see exactly what Mermaid was talking about.
The only reason I would assume the Corn Club is because that's the only bar that's not in that area anymore now. So we used to have two. One was CJ's and then the Corn Club. It's just Corn Club now. Then
so there's only the Corner Club that people go to hang out at. Could that be the following that Kaylee was getting possibly? That everybody was going to the one bar in town as opposed to following Kaylee everywhere she went? It could just be that everybody goes to the one bar that's open in that town. Maybe. He says generally outside. So the stalking normally it's generally outside. Okay, he's got the hand movements going again. Paused on the screen. Generally outside, and when walking into the one open bar in town, we get this following. Okay.
a whole block before it mingles. So
How many times did you see Kaylee and Maddie? How many times did they come to the store?
I'd say, now that I'm trying to think back in my head, I've only saw them maybe like 6-7 times total. So I'd say probably since the start of this beginning of this year.
That was a world-class interview. Go back to what Mermaid said, where he said, I'm glad you guys are all hanging out with a large group to stay safe. He did throw that in there, along with some epic dance moves. I'm just going to go with, he ramped it up. He really ramped it up for News Nation. He could be the stalker. Exactly, Jamie. Maybe he's the stalker. I saw them walking outside. Who's stalking who, Vape Man? Who's stalking who, man? Who? My God. But the Corner Club is all that's open now, and it seemed like there was a following when she would go into the Corner Club. Now, my question, with all the stalking that was going on, how come there was no police report filed? Was there a report made to the university about all this stalking? I doubt it. Or the police wouldn't be saying they can't find a stalker. The police cannot find, out of 22,000 registered, they can't find the white car. And out of all the people that like to drink in Moscow, Idaho, they can't find the stalker. Maybe Vape Guy doesn't realize either, or some of the other people that have repeated this, that stalking has become a slang term to people that just get on your nerves. Like the 3 people that I had to block today out of chat, they were stalking me. They were driving me up the damn wall. But stalking is actually illegal. And if you do it, you could get in trouble. So I think when they were saying, oh, being stalked, had a stalker, it's just a slang term. I don't really think that all of these people that like beer just as much as Kaylee and Maddie were truly stalking anyone. They're just going to the bar. That's it. They just go into the bar. It's insane. The whole thing's insane. All right, I'm going to listen to the audio with you guys again because I've got everybody hears Maddie except me. Why am I the only person not hearing Maddie? Misty Dew said, I don't hear Maddie either. Tom said, Maddie, what did you say to Adam? I told Adam everything. I told Adam everything. Rogue House hears her. Kat said, listen to the word before what? Kat, that would be the problem. I don't hear any word before what? It's clear as day. Okay, I'm going to take your word for it because I'm wasting everybody's time with my ears not hearing it. Welcome back, Cotter Hairdo. It's exactly right. Either or, which it is important. It is important, don't get me wrong. There was a conversation on a very significant evening, if you know what I mean. And this is a serious conversation, obviously, where she wants to know what was said to Adam, and it was everything. So, what is everything? Does everything pertain to Jack? And is that the reason Jack was called several times when they got back to the home before the murders took place? I don't know. Now, Steve says that this Adam guy is no one to look into. That's Steve's opinion. I'm not saying that this Adam guy is the killer. It just is one, it's just one more layer in the cake, guys. It's one more layer in the cake. That's going to drive me up the wall. It's going to drive me up the wall. What do you do? What do you do? I don't know, but it's a crazy week. You guys already know how my day started out. I was in the wrong stream looking for you guys. That was awesome. So I'll listen to it more. We'll talk about it more. No worries there. You know how it goes around here. I replay things a million times and I beat a dead horse. That's for sure. But I'm going to start winding this down. We do have another show in about 2 hours about a little girl missing in North Carolina. Not only is she missing, her parents didn't report her missing for 20 some days. When they did report her missing, they reported her missing to the school and not the authorities. I don't even know what to say about all of it. So come back in 2 hours, hit your reminder for when we go live. And then, of course, I'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I told you my week's going to be crazy. Family coming in, not just family, my son. My oldest son is coming in from the Air Force. My oldest son is coming in from the Air Force. So I do know I'll have a show tomorrow morning. The rest of the week, hit and miss. But knock on wood, YouTube does its job and reminds us for when we can get together. All right, see you guys back here in a couple hours. Sorry about the riffraff that got in here. I don't know how the hell that happened. Ridiculous, ridiculous. Oh, well. Oh, well. We got through it. Very, very simple procedure. All right, see you guys back here in a couple hours. You are the best. Bye.